Alright, some people like these videos, so I'll do another one. Maybe name a character you'd like to see if you want me to keep doing this. Changes I would like to see in the next season. You know what I mean? And of course, take whatever I say with a grain of salt, because there's lots of fundamental changes I would like to see in the game that kind of go along with all this. So a lot of just say, you know what I mean, shit like boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? You'd be able to tap that. How many times would this hit? 4 times probably? Boom, boom. Yeah, maybe 3, 4 times. You know, I really fucking hate that, how they get rid of that shit. Hate that you can't mash on normals the same. So fucking stupid. But again, so there'd be frame data flipped all around and all that kind of shit. But let's just talk about things that stick out to me about fun ways that they could change characters. So Trunks was a character in the last patch that they actually did change some stuff, because I was like, this version of the move and this version should be different. And this version, I said they could maybe make it off the ground or bounce the guy off the wall or something, or the ground, and you could combo off it. Just give it some kind of new combo potential, and that is maybe not the off the ground and bounce off a thing, but that is something they actually changed with them in this year. They made it so you have new combos with that, so I thought that was cool that they actually did. Like I said, some of the changes I talked about they actually did put in. They didn't go all the way with this though, right? So I still think that this version of the move should be unsuper dashable. I think that should actually count as a beam when you do that kind of, that cyclone, laser, keep, cyclone. What is it called? God, these fucking moves. What do they call the moves in this game, man? What are more special moves is? Cyclone Buster. Cyclone Buster, I still think that should actually count as a beam or whatever, but, you know, I'm glad they actually, whatever. I also still think that it should off the ground, because I think there'd be potentially some fun stuff. You know, it'd be very specific, but, you know, imagine if, you know, I don't know, you did some specific boom, 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 whatever they slid, and then imagine if you could do boom, and then get like an off the ground combo like that or something. Or imagine even if there was some kind of, you know, the guy teched or something, you're like, boom, into a throw, because say, you know, the hit stun was so high because you just did a huge combo. So the guy was sliding across the ground and they're going to attack automatically, so then you go for a throw mix-up, right? I think that add a little hectic nature. Could be off of anything, right? I mean, this wouldn't be fast enough, it doesn't look like, right? You know what I mean? So maybe, you know, fiddle with the frame data of that, so you might be able to get, you know, it might be a little, because, you know, you end your combos with that sometimes, you know what I mean? So imagine if you're like, ooh, something like that, then boom, boom, whatever it is, you know, like boom, boom, go for, you know, I think that'd add a little bit of a hectic, spazzy nature and add some, like, new kind of off-the-ground stuff. I think that would be fun, but I'm glad they at least added a little bit more combo potential to the move, but that is something still I would actually still take it a step further for Trunks if I was making the game. One of his new moves I would give him, and I said this last time, so he has this Ninja Dash move, right? I would actually give him an EX Ninja Dash, right? So first of all, actually I should say, I think the Ninja Dash should be a low. Because, you know, people complain, they're like, oh, Trunks doesn't have enough mix-up, right? So just like Vegito, I wouldn't give him like a new low per se, you know, necessarily, right? But I would say like, oh, maybe make the Ninja Dash low, right? And that gives him another low. So then the Ninja Dash is low while he's doing all these kind of like whatever kind of mix-ups. And I'd give him like an EX Ninja Dash off of this move, right? So you know you have this move, right? It's holding Hurricane Kick with you hold Fireball, right? Well, imagine if while you do this move, if you press hard slash while you're in it, so you could just roll it, you know what I mean? Whatever, you know, you'd be able to do it almost instantly, like with a frame. He would do a full screen Ninja Dash, right? That would allow him to get in, and of course it would still be invincible like this shit, you know? How do I do this? I'm trying to think of how to time this with one hand. You know what I mean? So it would still go through moves like that, and so you'd be like, oh, I wouldn't say maybe not exactly full screen, but, you know, make it go, because that only goes like half screen, it feels like, but make it go almost like 3/4. So Trunks is like, man, Trunks is even at this, because Trunks wants to get in, right? You know what I mean? So imagine if you have meter, you could do that EX Ninja Dash, right? And then since if they block it, it counts as a low, and then you're like, boom, whatever, dude. Some kind of crazy mix-up, you know? Whatever you're doing, right? You know what I mean? And I'd also give him another move out of that, you know what I mean? Again, this is that hold move, whatever, you know what I mean? So imagine, I would say that use your imagination when I'm talking for this one, right? So you know he has this move, right? The Frieza kill move, right? What's it called? Shining Slash. Well, I think I was actually surprised they didn't give him this, and here's a way you could actually put this in, right? Do you know when he kills Frieza in the anime or whatever, and the screen kind of like there's like a crack in the screen and it like splits a half, right? And like boom, like that, right? So this game has those kind of like, you know, smash effects, right? You know when you smash and it zooms in on the guy, right? Well, imagine if so when you're doing this, so he has this one thing where he can do the ninja dash out of it. And again, it takes a meter, right? But it gets him any of you with this block. Imagine if you do the whole Hurricane Kick Fireball. If you press one of the other buttons, could be square or triangle, right? He comes down, he teleports above the guy, and he looks like this, right? And then after he cuts him, say it like shows like, cause you know, say it just shows a picture of Trunks' face like when he killed Frieza, and the smash effect for that, and then it shows the screen just cracks, right? I just think that looks cool in the anime, you know what I mean? Add that smash when like the screen like splits in two like that, right? So Trunks is trying to get in, right? If he has meter, he can actually kind of bullshit his way in, right? You know, so he can do this EX Ninja Dash in, right? Or, as part of the mix-up, if he holds it in, he gets a teleport either here or here, and he comes down on the guy, and he uses this Shining Slash, and he comes down on the guy real quick, whatever. But if it hits, just say it does that, it just shows his face, and the screen cracks, right? And the guy slides, right? So you don't get some huge combo off it, because, you know, probably kind of like, maybe people think it'll be OP. It's like, wow, man, Trunks has a meter. He automatically gets in for his mix-up, right? But I think that would be a fun way to add that shit into the game, right? And then since it's this move, whatever the case, maybe it goes boom. Maybe there's that new mix-up I'm telling you about. Or maybe it has absolute stun or something like that. So you could try to, well, you know what I mean? Point is, I think that way you're automatically like, wow, Trunks is getting in. Trunks is getting in, dude. If he has meter, he has like new ways, right? I think that would be some fun ways to switch up Trunks, kind of give him a ghetto new move. I also think a way to give him a new move too would be, do you know in most of the Dragon Ball Z games how he has that? He doesn't have it in this game actually. Or is that kind of like spread shot, that shotgun blast where he shoots like a fireball that goes straight, a fireball that goes horizontally or diagonally upwards and diagonally down, right? Maybe they could call it something like, this is Cyclone Buster, maybe they have like Cyclone Shotgun, Cyclone Spread Shot, whatever the fuck you want to call it, dude, right? And say, imagine if when you do the Cyclone Flip or whatever, if you didn't input a fireball motion with the fireball button, he does that little spread shot thing, and he shoots 3 fireballs out. That would have to take meter too, probably. I don't know if it's worth a full 4-bar EX move, but like how I said Vegito should have an EX move, 2 or 3 bars. You know, I don't know, I'd have to play around with it to see how good it would be, but Trunks has a Cyclone Shotgun, Cyclone Spread Shot, whatever, right? You know what I mean? So when he does this move, if you waste some meter, and you do the fireball when you're in it, he shoots a little spread shot against the screen. It shoots 3 fireballs out, covering the screen. Wouldn't count as a beam. You know what I mean? It's kind of acting like Vegeto's Banshee blasting away, and then boom, you're dashing in and you're getting in. Another kind of ghetto way for Trunks to get in, right? So again, like I said, I wouldn't really fuck with Trunks like giving him a new low because it is what it is. We're trying to keep the idea of what the character is actually doing, right? The character, they want him to be a little bit weak to lows, you know what I mean? So we're not switching it. And of course, again, I said every character should have their medium auto combo should do a unique animation. So who knows? Maybe his unique animation for his auto combo will be a new different low. But I would ask, make sure it's a normal that doesn't actually move him forward, because I said it's really terrible that all moves move you forward in this game like that. It's really feels fucking bullshit. I don't like that. It's like stupid, right? You need some kind of neutral footsie pressure that the move is like stationary and doesn't move you forward. So maybe it's kind of like some new low normal off of the medium auto combo where he just stays close or stays where he is, and he slashes at you with his sword and hits low, whatever. But anyway, point is with that, I think that's would give Trunks some new ways to get in. You'd spice up a little bit of his, you know, after he hits the dude, you know what I mean? Some potential new mind games. And of course, shit like this, you know what I mean? This would, whatever. I just think that would be fun, right? You give him a couple new moves. Other things that kind of like stick out to me too is I think that Well, I think shit like this. He's engulfed in fire. Dude, he is engulfed in fire. That move should hit for a couple more frames or something, dude. Like, it's not like a terrible move already. It's already a pretty good move, right? If you think about it from like a neutral sort of perspective in that sense. But I think you should be able to meaty with it a little bit better. Have it hit for a couple more frames even, you know what I mean? I just don't like moves that look like they're visually so much better than they are, like, you know? You know, it's like, you're engulfed in the fire, dude. That could hit for another frame or two, dude, right? You know what I mean? So, those are some things that kind of stick out to Trunks. I know a move that Trunks has in a lot of games, too, is he has the fucking, I think it's called Finish Buster, right? So this is burning attack, right? This is burning attack, yeah. You know he has that Finish Buster where he just kind of does a move like that, but then he holds his hands up and then he shoots it forward and it's a beam. You know, I wouldn't be against giving Trunks, maybe if you're holding in the button for that, after he does that, then he holds up his arms and then he does a little beam super and it's a level 2 super he has now, and that's a way to put in his Finish Buster super move that he has in every other game. You know, just hold it in. Sorry. You hold it in, blah, 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 blah. Then he'd hold up his hands, like in the video games. It takes another bar, and then he throws it down at you. It's a little beam. Then he does the Finish Buster. I don't know. I guess you could give him that, but I feel like you're already kind of giving him quite a bit of what I said, too. Right? Plus, Trunks is a character, like I said, I think this game should have, because reflecting would be better in a game if I made it, right? You know what I mean? But then you would actually have reflecting moves that can't be reflected, and I've said this before. I think Shining Slash should be unreflectable. So Trunks is like pressuring the fuck out of you because Trunks has all these ways to get in, you know what I mean? From even like mid-screen, half, 3/4 of the screen, you know, EX Ninja Dash, whatever, or this falling down teleport Shining Slash that just cracks the screen to add that sort of, you know, image in your head that I think is cool. Or I hope you think it's cool because I thought it was cool when he killed Frieza like that. But, you know, he has ways to get in. He's still going to be weak low. But he has ways to get in, right? And when he does hit you, he has some more kind of spazzy kind of mix-ups. You know what I mean? And, you know, I would say, and, you know, if you try to reflect them off you, remember, this is unreflectable, I say, if I were to make the game, right? Because, yeah, some characters actually have unreflectable moves, because I think that's fun. You know what I mean? So what's he doing? I want to reflect them off him, but, oh, I got to watch out for that, because that's unreflectable, blah, blah, blah. And, of course, I think Trunks is a character that definitely, since, you know, I would add, like, another second or something like that to the combo time or something. Anyway, those are ideas that stick out to me that I think would make Trunks quite a bit more fun, I guess. Like I said, let me know if you want to see other characters that you would want to see. I think that gives Trunks quite a bit of new stuff, actually, so I think that would be a fun way to do Trunks. The end.